trying to get close to you.
Okay. Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. And it is a beautiful morning.
It is. Much better than yesterday.
Oh.
When it was cold.
Woo!
Cold and
about
snowing.
5 degrees last
icy,
night
really,
here.
not
And
snowing,
icy
but kinda
and
sleet.
a little bit of sleet, but you know, it's not bad.
The good thing is,
Okay.
we found out how much propane we use.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. So during the extremely cold, which it's been extremely cold for us. It's been around 8, 7, 0, somewhere at night during a few nights of the last couple weeks.
Right. It was about 5 degrees last night, probably.
Yeah. And so we had our 2 propane bottles, the regular size like you trade in at Walmart or Home Depot or wherever. We had 2 of those bottles hooked up, and we've done quite a bit of baking too.
Yeah?
Because remember,
I haven't, but you have.
Yeah, I've done some baking, bread and other things.
So it was
11 days. Yeah.
11 days.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 11 days for the 2 bottles, which I think is not too bad.
It's not too bad considering
the cold
is
weather.
heating
It's
our
heating.
house.
And hot water.
Yeah, and so our floors obviously are
And our stove.
are something that we heat the floors with the radiant heat, and it's with this big old hot water heater up here. So it's a Takagi, and it's a good hot water heater. The amazing thing to me is this thing heats, but I've never been able to feel it doesn't even make the intake or nothing gets hot, and
The
exhaust doesn't get hot. It's amazing. It doesn't even hardly get warm. So you know, they told me that I could use thin wall PVC actually, and I can see why now. So anyway, that's operating well, and we're going to show you today something about the composting toilet that we discovered. Now, Debbie, you want to show them this? I'm going to grab that bag outside right quick. Okay? You can show them how those little pellets work.
This is actually what we prefer for our composting toilet over the coconut core. The coconut core, first of all, took a long time to rehydrate.
Yes.
He'd have to leave it setting for a long time. Now this morning, we have a measured amount, 3.5 Rudy's cups, Rudy's barbecue cups, and about half a cup of water, and they start out as pellets, and it's like
cheap.
I don't know, $6 for this bag.
And they're hard pellets. They've been pressed, and all you have to do is get enough. I just mix them up with my hand when I put them in there.
Yeah.
And that gives enough moisture to break down that little film on the outside, which is just, I think, from compression.
Yeah. So now this is almost totally hydrated again, and it's just been in there. I mean, within 10 or 15 minutes
or less.
It was already
and
that way.
And you can see that the ones that are still pellets, they react to moisture, so I don't worry about all the pellets being totally dissolved, but you can see that the ones that are still pellets, they just come apart real easily. This has worked so well for us.
We really like it, and another thing I like about it is that the coconut core didn't have any smell at all.
This smells clean. It smells piney.
And to us, this smells good. It's a natural pine smell. Maybe it's because Jim worked in a cabinet shop, and I have a love for cabinet builders. I don't know, but for some reason, we really like this a lot better, and it's a really inexpensive.
Okay, let's go put it in. Well, the way we empty our toilet, it's made with. You can shoot down in there. It's okay. It's made with. Just a bucket from Home Depot, and then I manufactured the little deal that goes in there.
You want me to turn it?
Yeah.
So this goes around when you turn the switch on over here. So there's a switch on the wall for that. You turn it off.
So what we do is I just pull the whole bucket out and just dump it into a plastic bag, and just use my little plastic gloves, and I take this out. I double bag the plastic bag and throw it in the trash. And so what we're going to do now is we're just refilling it. We're just going to take this, and it should cover the little mixing thing down in there. Okay, so
now you can see it go around. So any solids that are in there are just covered up.
They just get covered up, and the moisture's drawn out of them. There's never any smell. We have this little fan right over here on the side that goes out the top, and that draws, this little fan draws air through here all the time.
That runs 24/7.
Runs all the time.
And then the urine fan comes through this hole and goes into that funnel down into the buckets below.
2 5-gallon, 10 gallons.
Urine.
And then we have a self-closing lid, a slow-closing lid. And there's what it looks like on the inside.
Yep.
And the solids just disappear, and then you just close this.
What we always do, because we like it to be clean and smell good, is we always clean after we've used the restroom. We like to clean this out really well, and then this has some essential oil, lemon.
It has lemongrass
or thieves or whatever we want to put in there. And we just spray a little spray of that in there,
just to keep it disinfected,
and that keeps it smelling good.
Yeah. And then this bucket will go back out.
Piece of cake.
Yeah, piece of cake.
And this is something Jim built this week. I can't get back far enough from it to see it, but good morning, good morning. Jim is making a shelf underneath for my soaps to fit in. And it looks like he's sitting and thinking right now. Which sometimes requires a lot of thinking, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I like it. It's a cabinet above. You put the face on the cabinet. There you go.
We can shoot it from over here, baby.
You can take it.
Okay. Yeah, we just went ahead and finished this out so that it's complete. And then down below, instead of seeing that old wheel well there, we now have a shelf. There's a little ledge on there to keep things from sliding out.
Yep.
And of course, the tall things and stuff can fall over, but Debbie's going to put them in a basket.
Yep.
The things that can. So that was completed this week.
Travel, yes.
And then also we did the little table up here.
Yes.
The little cabinet beside our. This is our pull-out bed up here, and we'll tell you, we're going to talk about that, I think, in another day or so. We've really come to like it. So here's a little, just using scrap wood, what I had around here. This is some oak lumber that's in here, and then here, let's move these books. And this is also oak lumber, and this all came out of a remodel job that I did, where I remodeled a doctor's office. And then I Velcroed this strip on there so that we have lots of plug-ins. So if we find any more, we have to have lots of plug-ins for charging everything. Then this is our leveler. And we love the Bigfoot leveler. You just push one button and man, it levels up. And I've got it on there so that we can pull it off easily. You can see it's on there with Velcro. And we can pull it off and just sit over here on the couch and operate it if we want to. And then the little shelf that we put, the little drawer that we put in here, it has a special little divider so that we can put all of our remotes and small things up here in the front. And then we have a pull-out shelf. And this is where I can set my coffee and all that in case this is all filled up. I know you wouldn't believe it, but I tend to pile stuff up there. So this is hidden away. So when I get ready to eat or something, I can just pull this out, put my drink right there. So Debbie did a good job. She put a good finish on them and they all look great. And
show the cabinet you built up there.
Oh no. And then this is a
been finished yet.
No, we haven't put the finish on it yet, but this is a little cabinet that I built up here. All I did is I just cut, this is quite a space up here. up to the front of the bus. There's the very front. I am going to insulate that because we get a little sweat in there. So I'm going to insulate that real good so we don't get that sweat. And so what I'm going to use this area. I've already put insulation in the bottom and in the sides. It's all insulated, but this is where I'm going to put my camera equipment. So all my camera equipment will be stored up here, but I do need to finish insulating that front wall so that we don't have sweat. And the top portion up in the very top, it also sweats, and we don't need that. But actually, it was just lost space. It's just dead space up there. So it turned into a nice little storage cabinet for all my camera equipment. Isn't that great? With the temperature being as low as it has been, I have cut a couple things. This is some again, with running a heater or the stove or whatever in here with propane, you get moisture, and so I just cut a couple pieces of foam to put in our windows here, and it really helps. It absolutely stops the sweating, and that's been really nice. Now I will put a piece of plywood over this little piece of 1/4 inch so that when it slips in there, it doesn't look so ugly. And then what we will do is we'll store those underneath the bus. But a lot of things I've discovered is there's just places where there's no insulation in a schoolie like this. Now down here, this is just metal, and the metal just radiated the cold. I took some great stuff and put it in there and then cut it off, and I'll go ahead and finish that to look like the wall. Where we really get the most cold air is radiating through the middle and the steps, all this portion down here. I am so glad we put in this radiant floor. It works so well. Very pleased with it. But we just still have a little bit from the front. We have a little bit of cold radiating, and so I'm going to insulate from the underside. I'm going to insulate that and then spray like some Flex Seal or something like that. Or
but the curtains really help.
But the curtains are amazing.
Yeah.
These curtains we've talked about them before, but you can see, I'll just move this over to here so you can see how they work. Well, Debbie could show you there. So that would be me. You are the cutest thing. Okay. And so they overlap about 6 or 8 inches, and I'm telling you, it makes all the difference. Now if I had it to do over again, I would make them a little bit longer. We don't seem to get that much cold air up above, but down below, even though there's just a little half inch crack there, down below, the cold air will pour under there. So we just threw a couple towels down in there last night when it was 5 degrees, and it seemed to work out really good. Everything stayed nice and warm. And then our mini split has been wonderful. This Climair mini split for cooling and heating. We're really pleased with it. So what do you think overall, baby? Do you like living in this?
Overall, it's great. It's great. One thing I like about the kitchen, I have plenty of space to work there, and everything's within reach. So you don't have to walk across the kitchen to get what you're looking for. You can stand at the stove and reach the refrigerator and reach all the spices and everything at once. So it's kind of nice.
It is kind of cool, isn't it?
It is. It is.
So she has been cooking and cooking and cooking in here. As a matter of fact, when it gets a little too cool in here, I'll say, Debbie, don't you need to cook something?
Bake some bread.
Maybe bake some bread, but I have to say most of the time the temperature stays right around what? It's
been between 68 and 72. Most of the time.
Which is really a really nice temperature. And so we're gonna say goodbye if I can operate this camera here. Okay. So we're gonna say goodbye to you and tell you that it is a joy. Life is a joy, and it's a joy to have you guys following us and watching us, and the wonderful comments that we receive. Thank you so much for taking the time to do that, and thank you for being a part of our lives. So until next time, goodbye.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks so much for watching and for sharing and, you know, subscribing and thumbs up.
Life is a joy.
And life is a joy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.